Yeah.
How are you? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Like I've seen you before, right?
Yeah.
This is so exciting. I'm glad you signed up for this gift presentation. You have a very interesting concept, a website, okay? I think it's going to be very interesting. Rock, paper, scissors, right?
Yeah. That
Okay.
is.
I'm looking forward to hearing all this again. Um, just so you know, I'm alluding to, we had a podcast a few days ago, a week ago, and it was a very interesting. We said, "Oh my goodness, you have to come to Gift, you have to present," and so you are here. So this is your platform. Please explain who you are, what it is, and this is exciting. Thank you.
Let's start. And yeah, there you go. So, my invention I'm going to be talking about today is my website called Rock, Paper, Scissors Games. And the name is because that's all you need, really, theoretically, to play a game. And we'll get into that more later in the presentation. So this is a picture where I'm on the right and my grandma's on the left. And the reason I created my website to help other kids learn more about, to help kids learn more basic STEM skills through gamified learning, through board games. It's because my grandmother helped me learn to love math through playing various different games with me. And I have so many good memories of doing that with her that I got really interested in math and it helped me want to learn it more on my own and build some of those skills that are becoming increasingly more important in our 21st century world. And here, if you don't know what we're doing in the picture, we're paragliding over Lake Chelan in Washington. So yeah, it was fun. I recommend you all do that. uh, Rock, Paper, Scissors Games. It's a website, as I've mentioned about 100 times by now in the first 30 seconds, which hosts free printable educational board games that are made by students for other students. And it helps them learn valuable skills in math, science, and critical thinking. And of course, we will be probably expanding the categories more as we develop. But the core idea is that students can learn from the different board games that are available, and then they can also repackage that learning by creating another board game and submitting that to help even more students learn and grow. And when you think about what a board game is, it's just a concept of a game. It really doesn't matter how neatly it's packaged or if it has plastic pieces versus just rocks you found on the side of the road. So at Rock Paper Scissors Games, we're cutting down the cost of a board game to just being free printable board game that you can just print it out yourself and you don't have to pay $20 at Target to get one of these. This is the concept of frugal innovation, which is taking something that already exists, like a board game, and making it significantly cheaper. Another example of this, where I got my inspiration, is the Fold Scope, which is a microscope that in parts is less than $1, which sounds crazy when you think about it. Um, and this invention was uh, created by Professor Manu Prakash and his PhD student, Jim Cybulski. And it's used in all parts of the world to help deliver a proper science education to people who may not have been able to afford high quality equipment for their science classrooms. So not only did I have to create a website, but also some games. So here was my process with how I came up with good games and all the different constraints that we had. Um, Different age groups and subjects require different processes. So lower age groups require more simplicity. If you try to teach a 3-year-old a very complicated game, they're not going to get it. And they can't read. So usually a lot of little kids can't read. So having the rules in picture format, so it's simple enough that you can just show pictures for how to do the rules. And higher age groups, however, aren't going to be satisfied with a very, very simple game design, and they require catch or more complexity. For example, well, you can do this, but only if you have these things already. So capturing, I don't know, in Monopoly, if you get you're stuck in jail unless you got a get out of jail card. So things like that. But we can type up rules in words, so that helps a lot. Math games are a little bit simpler to create, and they can just start from the concept that you really want to teach and then just kind of put that into a game. For example, basic arithmetic, you want to teach addition. Then you can think about what really is addition and how would I then put that into a kind of simpler game format, like, oh, you race to the end. But if it's addition, you can give someone a card that says like 3 + 5, and then you have to move 8 spaces forward or something like that, where it doesn't take a lot of creativity and ingenuity in the lower levels to make a math game. Science is harder because there's something that you have to represent that is more of a complex process, or something that's a little bit harder to explain to someone just by things that they already know or make sense to them. And critical thinking requires more abstract brainstorming, where you have to change what the game is at all. You can't just take a basic game idea like race, you're trying to be the first one to finish or something like that, or capture all the other players' pieces. It requires you to think about how you can make that game. So I think that's the hardest one to create, but those are super fun to play. Also, making the website requires thinking of the different features that would make it better in terms of the UI, and also in terms of how how easy it is to find things, and how it really helps push the right content. And how are you going to submit game ideas? Are you just going to let people post them willy-nilly, or do they need to get checked? And I will do a quick tour showing off my website. So let me new share, and then yeah, here. Can you see this? Okay, good. So here's our home page, and if we go to games, then it'll just pop up like the first games, and usually I'll just put a few here once we get more games. But then you can also search. Like if I want to search for preschool math games, I can click get games, and it'll get me other games. And you can always view the details in the games. You can learn about the author, and you can also download games that will show up in a PDF format. And to submit a game, there you just would go into the contact us page, and there's just an email that you will send your game to. And the model of my entire thing put together is games are either printed directly by the user, or they can be distributed by different charities that I'm hoping to get to work with in the future. But before that, I really want to make more games and make it a little bit more fleshed out. And anyone can submit games that they've made, and they will get reviewed though before being posted, so that we can monitor for like things like copyright or for inappropriate content or things like that, or even to see if it's easily printable, if the colors will clash too much for black and white printing. And how can you get involved? So you can go to www.rpsgames.org to view the games that we have. You can click through all the different pages, and the email is hello@rpsgames.org to submit a game, ask a question, share an experience. Any form of contact would go there. And the requirements for submitting a game are on the contact us page of www.rpsgames.org. And that is all I have in terms of slides. So if I was wondering if you had any questions.
Well, yes, actually, I know you're 35 years old and you've been doing this for 20 years, but can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, I'm actually not 35 years old. I'm 17 and I'm a junior in high school. And yeah, I do other activities as well. I like music, so I play piano and viola and orchestra, and I also do taekwondo. Like I just came from a taekwondo test actually, right before this. So yeah, that's a little bit about
So
myself.
how did you think of this? How did you get started?
So I was actually in a mind analytics camp where they taught us a little bit more about the different types of invention and where I learned about frugal invention. And I kind of decided to use that and apply that to a topic I was passionate about.
So what, hi, I'm Michelle Munson and been involved with students in invention for a long time. So what made you focus on the game concept?
Like I wanted to focus on kind of the game concepts because I like at when you're learning when you're a little kid, it's very hard to get a kid excited by just learning by lecturing them in a classroom. And a lot of times in my personal experience, and I'm sure a lot of other students have this experience, when you're excited about a topic that you're learning, it is so much easier to study it. It is so much, it just goes so much smoother. You're more motivated to want to learn it. You subconsciously you pay attention more. You will do your own research in regard to the topic aside from what you're taught in class. So you will, it actually helps you learn a lot.
Great, great. So how many games do you have on your site as of now?
As of now, we have 3 published on the site, but there's a couple more. One I have in the pipeline that hasn't been published. It just needs a little bit editing and I just need to stick it in the database. And another one of it, I have like a concept that I just need to make the PDF. But other than that, I've also been able to work with other students and have some of their games in the pipeline to put on to my site.
Great, great. So
Well,
how
that's
have kids
very,
respond to it so far?
yeah, that's quite something. I wasn't doing anything like that when I was 17. So that was very impressive. Do you have a plan for what's next?
Like I said, first I'll focus on getting more games as well as I definitely want to um like work with other charities that actually deal with education and it and at very hopefully very low cost to them be able to distribute these games to students who may not have the resources to buy a lot of games.
Great, very good. Well, I hope people will, a lot of people are going to see this, and I hope people will take the initiative, and I know they've got some great ideas, and send them to you. And this is going to be very exciting.
Great. There was a question for Anya regarding perhaps any thoughts on intellectual property concerns.
Yeah, like at first like I didn't seem like that it didn't seem to me like a huge problem of people like distributing it without permission, or there's certain things of copyright that isn't super necessary, but some of it like somebody else trademarking it and copyrighting it and then we wouldn't be able to use it, that is a little bit more concerning. So I would probably have to get a way for like have a way for that to not be copyrighted in that sense where I'm not not allowed to use it. So there's a little bit to do there.
There's always more stuff to know and always more things to do. Great.
Great
Well, I'm going to
start.
be going
Good
to your
job.
site and looking for some games, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of stuff showing up. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.